which is where these camels are. Pretty close to there, where these camels are at the bottom of the picture. Beersheba is south. Beersheba is the biggest city in the south, the capital of the south, they call it. And we're going there. Why? We'll find out. Okay, here you can see Tel Beersheba. Beersheba, Avraham Avinu lived in Beersheba. We are going to Tel Beersheba. Now, this is the reason we came here, to Tel Beersheba. This is the Mizbeach. This Mizbeach is very unusual story. Because when the archaeologists were digging, they found a wall, and they found pieces of the Mizbeach in the wall. This is very odd, very unusual. The pieces of a Mizbeach in the wall, so they took out the pieces and they reconstructed the Mizbeach. What is going on over here? Somebody left them an ancient puzzle? So what happened was, a theory goes like this. We're talking about King Yoshiyahu. This is later than Chizkiyahu. This is towards the end already of Bais Rishon. This is really towards the last 20 years of the Beis HaMikdash. And Yoshiyahu finds the Sefer Torah. And it's opened up to the Klalos in Kisavo. And he discovers, what a lot says, that he discovered Sefer Dvarim. The four Chumashim before were known, it's just Sefer Dvarim, for some reason, had been forgotten to the people. But the Chachamim knew about this. The Chachamim knew Sefer Dvarim, but the Pshutei Ha'am only had the four first Sfarim. So Yoshiyahu also didn't know, even though he had Chachamim coming to him, but he also didn't know. And all of a sudden, Chumash Dvarim was discovered, and it says there over and over again that Bamas are wrong. It doesn't say that in the Chumashim before. You're not going to find Isser Bamas in the Chumashim before. In Dvarim, you find it. That's the thing on the Yoma, right? Because we just finished Sefer Bamidbar, and we're starting Sefer Dvarim. So just know, you find it every few prokim. You find worshipping Hashem, avodas Hashem is in one place, karbonos in one place, and that's Hamakom Asher Yirah Hashem. It doesn't say Yerushalayim per se, but we all know it's the Psukim are talking about Yerushalayim. So here we have this Mizbeach, which was found in the wall. Why would there be a Mizbeach in the wall? Because Yoshiyahu said he sent his men all around his kingdom to stop the Mizbechos. So they came and they said, guys, you have a Mizbeach? It's illegal now. You have to get rid of it. We discovered Chumash Dvarim, which we didn't know for many years. And then they said, oh, what an Avera, and they had to get rid of it. But the people felt connected. Imagine this is something that they used to daven with. This is something that they used for the Avodas Hashem for so many years. Now you come, you tell them that you can't be using it. So it's too hard to destroy. It's hard emotionally. So they just took it apart and they put it into the wall. And they were hoping that maybe, just maybe, the next king that comes round, he's going to be different. The next king that comes round, he's going to let them have a Mizbeach. So, and then they'll take it out of the wall, but that never happened. And the Churban came way too soon for them. There you can see just different types of Mizbechos that were found. They have corners, very pronounced corners. It's not just the way we draw the square corners. It's not karnaim, it's not horns, but it does have like more of a shape and more of it's carved in nicely. So that's what this picture is showing you over here. Now this is part of the walls of Beersheba. See the strong stone walls, and in certain places they added mud brick. Okay, here in this picture you can see Nachal Chevron comes on the right, Nachal Beersheba on the left. Beersheba of today is all the way on top. And this here, you can see the entire Beersheba, where Avraham Avinu lived, and where this Mizbeach was that had to be taken apart in the time of Yoshiyahu. And here you can see this is Beersheba in the early months of the summer because you can see there's a lot of yellow around. Yellow means there were green bushes that the sun came and dried them out. Now here you can see the area of Beersheba, which is the warehouses, which is where they keep they store their food and stuff. There are a lot of warehouses. You know, if somebody puts you under siege, then you can live for a long time, even though you're under siege. Yeah, today we're so upset about being in bidud, being in quarantine. People back then planned to be in quarantine for years. Just think, Beis Hamikdash Harishon, it was about a year and a half to 2.5 years that we were sieged in, we were trapped in Yerushalayim. We're not talking about just a few months of being in quarantine or 2 weeks. We're talking about a long time. And people planned for that, and that's how they lived. And they didn't have anything electronic. They didn't have virtual tours on Zoom. And they managed. You see more of Tel Beersheba over here. To Tel Arad, which is also in the south, which is also not far from Beersheba. You can see Arad in the back, Tel Arad. So the sign says Tel Arad, and this is what we're going to focus on, because this is from the time of Yoshiyahu. There's a massive fortress. It's not it's not a city. It's more for soldiers, more garrison. There were people living there, but very few. It wasn't like Tel Beersheba that was a big city. And here you can see it from above, Tel Arad, the Israelite fortress, 2 big towers in the entrance. It sticks up on top of everything. This is Tel Beersheba at night. Now here we're going in past one of these towers. And we are moving in. We're inside Tel Beersheba now. And this is what I wanted you to see. We are in the temple, in the holy place, in the Mikdash of Tel Arad. Again, it doesn't sound good. Bais Rishon, what can we do? People were over Avodah Zarah. There was a lot of Avodah Zarah, and here we find it. They had an actual temple, an actual Mikdash, and this is the Devir, which is their Kodesh Kodashim, and they had some stone in the back that they would probably daven to Hashem, but through a stone. Now, what we found over here, archaeologists dug, and they found that this whole area was covered purposely by people from the time of Yoshiyahu. People in the time of Yoshiyahu covered this. Why would they do that? Why would they cover their mikdash, their dvir, their kodesh kodashim? And the answer is because Yoshiyahu said no more worshipping outside of Yerushalayim. No more mikdashim, bamos, kodesh kodashim, definitely not. But then again, for the people, they can't destroy it. It's too sentimentally, they can't do it. Emotionally, they can't do it. So they just covered all of it. They covered it in, and the archaeologists uncovered it. The Israelite Tower, we are holding right by the Churban, very close to the Churban. Before we go to the Israelite Tower, I'm taking you next to Shar Shechem. Shar Shechem is to the right over here, and the entrance over here in the mountain will bring us to Tzidkiyahu's cave. Maras Tzidkiyahu. Tzidkiyahu is the last king of Yehuda. He's the last king. He's the king that Nebuchadnezzar has to put a siege round, beat. Then he takes him to Bavel. He kills his kids in front of him, and he takes out his eyes. The terrible, terrible stories. And it happens at the time of Tzidkiyahu. And here we have this beautiful cave that's called Tzidkiyahu's cave. Let's look at this. It's the biggest. Some say it's the biggest cave in Israel. There's a lot to see. You walk around. It's beautiful. The way they put up the lighting is also very nice. So, why is this called Tzidkiyahu's cave? It's the Midrash. And the Midrash says, when Nebuchadnezzar was destroying Yerushalayim, he went looking for the king. That's what you do. You look for the king. That's the first thing you do. And Tzidkiyahu had a secret exit through a cave, through a tunnel. And they say this is the tunnel. And so he went into this tunnel, and he was running towards Yericho. This tunnel goes all the way to Yericho. But Hashem said, I'm not going to let Tzidkiyahu get away. Tzidkiyahu, he may not have been a Rasha, but he didn't listen to Yirmiyahu. And there's a lot of things that I promised that have to happen to him. And you don't listen to the Navi Hashem, you listen to all the phony Nevi'im, there's going to be judgment. There's going to be din. And so Tzidkiyahu is running in this tunnel, and above him, on ground, are Nebuchadnezzar's men, the Nebuchadnezzar's soldiers, and they see a deer. They see a tzvi. A tzvi is a gazelle. And so they see a tzvi running on top. They start chasing this tzvi. Beneath them is Tzidkiyahu, and they're actually running parallel to each other. And they get all the way to Yericho. And at Yericho, Tzidkiyahu comes out of the cave. They catch the tzvi, and then they say, "Hey, this is Tzidkiyahu. Grab him!" And they grab him. They bring him to Nebuchadnezzar. So Tzidkiyahu didn't manage to escape, and this is his tunnel. Here we can see. Okay, now here there's a picture so you get an idea. It's a massive cave. It is a massive cave. I went there. I was there a few times, but you can't go in that deep. There's only lighting in the first part. The deeper parts don't have lighting. You're not going to go in the base, so you're not allowed to go there. So the Muslim quarter sits on top, and here you have this massive, massive cave. There are parts of the cave, I think, that haven't been completely discovered. And so, who knows? We could find that tunnel, the tunnel from the time of Tzidkiyahu. Who knows? It might happen. Okay, here you can see more of this tunnel. Every picture looks different. Every part of this tunnel is different. It just